This topic is agency, legitimacy and responsibility, which is topic 4. And at the end of this topic, students will be able to define the responsibility of persons, project the responsibility of corporations, understand that corporations can have conscience, evaluate the idea of the moral projection, appreciate that social responsibility of business is to increase its profits, compare the relationship between private corporations and public welfare, and also identify the new directions in corporate social responsibility. Responsible citizens make responsible business organizations, as corporations are mere projections of people's image. Corporations are artificial persons that are managed by natural people like humans. As much of ethical behavior is expected of humans, so much ethical code of conduct is expected of business organizations. When law has given a legal status to a business establishment on its incorporation, its legitimacy is recognized. Hence, natural persons who are agents of these firms are expected to behave ethically for the sake of the organizations they represent. Social responsibility is an integral part of all business houses, as their contributions towards a society uplifts an economy and creates a good image to the organization. Business houses should look beyond profits, and consumers expect more than the goods and services they buy. Not always governments alone can bring about a change in a society. Business organizations have also their own roles to play to give back something to the society in which they are in. Whenever such responsible corporate houses are not found, government regulations can help in bringing about this forcefully, either directly or indirectly. For example, to reduce tax burden, organizations are encouraged to employ special needs employees, thereby helping these underprivileged and at the same time bringing social responsibility from businesses. This is an indirect method. In a direct way, those organizations that exceed pollution levels can be fined for such acts, discouraging them and making them fall in line. Hence, social responsibility is expected both from people and business organizations, as they both have conscience. Now, what is the responsibility of people? Any individual, in whatever capacity he is, plays many roles like parent, neighbor, employee, citizen, etc. When such multitasking is done, he keeps shifting from one role to another or plays more than one role at the same time. During these times, he is confronted with many responsibilities, and three main things have to be considered. Someone is to blame, something has to be done, some kind of trustworthiness can be expected. It means that responsibility is an accountability issue, and if an individual takes up the responsibility, he takes along also the blame. If others take up, they take the blame, so someone is to blame. When there are role plays, something has to be done, otherwise the role will be inefficient and incomplete. When there is responsibility, it shows trust and reliability, and so this person can be expected to be dependable. When applying emotional and intellectual process, a moral point of view is taken, and the traits required in applying moral responsibility will be rationality, which is lack of impulsiveness, care in mapping out alternatives and consequences, clarity about goals and purposes, attention to details of implementation. Respect, concern for the effects of one's decision and policies on others. It is this feature that permits us to trust the morally responsible person. Now moving on to understand the responsibility of corporations. Corporations that monitor their employment practices and the effects of their production process and produce the products that are environmentally healthy show the same kind of rationality and respect that morally responsible individuals do. Some corporations have built features into their management incentive systems, board structures, internal control systems, and research agendas that in a person we would call self-control, integrity, and consciousness. Modern corporations have full realization of these facts and adopt such practices even from the time of their inception. Globalization is another reason why corporations need to be responsible. To compete in global markets, good quality of products and services alone are not enough. Ethical standards and social responsibility are also part of quality. ISO 9000 certificates may be awarded for good global standards, but it is difficult to fix such parameters for ethics and responsibility. In the internet age, thanks to social networks like Facebook, Twitters and blogs, many wrong moves of a corporate will become sensational news world over. And just to avoid bad publicity, organizations take extra efforts to avoid unethical behavior. They go out of the way to promote social causes and to keep themselves in the limelight. Now let us see whether corporations have conscience. A corporation can and should have conscience. The language of ethics does not have a place only in a human. It is also a vocabulary of an organization. Organizational agents such as corporations should be no more and no less morally responsible than ordinary persons. One viewpoint is that corporations act as individuals and have moral responsibility for their actions, so they should have a conscience. Another viewpoint is that business organizations are the same as machines and they have nothing to do with conscience. Moreover, corporations feel no pain or pleasure in their acts, and to put them in the same scale of humans will be unjustified. Therefore, to apply moral categories to more corporate organizations and their acts, philosopher John Searle's claims can be applied. According to him, a corporate organization exists only if there exist certain human individuals who are in certain circumstances and relationships and are linguistic and social conventions lay down that when these kinds of individuals exist in those kinds of circumstances and relationships, they shall count as a corporate organization. Secondly, a corporate organization acts only if certain individuals in the organizations perform certain actions in certain circumstances, and our linguistic and social conventions lay down that when those kinds of individuals perform those kinds of actions in those kinds of circumstances, this shall count as an act of their corporate organization. Thus, corporations do have a conscience just as humans have. Let us now have a evaluation of the moral projection. Two frames of references that compete for the allegiance of people who ponder the question of corporate responsibility are: the first one being the invisible hand. The true and only social responsibility of business organizations are to make profits and obey laws. The working of the free and competitive marketplace will moralize corporate behavior quite independently of any attempts to expand or transform decision making via moral projection. The second is that the hand of the government. Corporations are to pursue objectives that are rational and purely economic. The regulatory hand of the law and the political process, rather than the invisible hand of the marketplace, turns these objectives to the common good. Both these frameworks complement each other in their operations. In a free market economy, when the two market forces, demand and supply, act, and when there is freedom of choice for the consumers, only morally responsible organizations survive in the long run. Those organizations that follow unethical practices may reap initial profits but will fail to sustain for want of good governance. Governments also have their role in control and maintenance of ethical practices to safeguard the interest of the investors, consumers, competitors, and the society, thus bringing about a regulation forcefully to follow the set standards. Social responsibility of the business is to increase its profits. Let us understand this concept. It is basically understood that profit maximization and cost minimization are always the goals of any commercial organization. But when ethics and social responsibility are to be included as part of the business activity, these goals may have to be compromised. Social responsibility against the interest of the corporation. Refrain from increasing the price of a product in order to contribute to the social objective of preventing inflation. Reduce pollution beyond the best interest of the corporation. Hire people less qualified to contribute towards society to reduce unemployment and poverty. While taking different roles, corporations may increase profits but may reduce social responsibility and vice versa. Now let us understand the relationship between private corporations and public welfare. Public welfare is something that is normally provided by governments to keep a society's well-being. Commercial establishments in earlier times contributed nothing to such public welfare. Of late, when technology, communication, education and travel have increased, awareness has increased along the public to appreciate those organizations that have some role to play, either independently or in partnership with government, towards public welfare activities. Large business houses sponsor to such welfare work through public involvement and media coverage. This will not only take care of the image of the corporate but also give publicity. By contributing a certain percentage of profits to a non-profit establishment called CRY, an organization can boost up its reputation and help poor children with decent living. The doctrine of corporate social responsibility comes in many varieties. Its most developed version demands that corporations help alleviate public welfare deficiencies like drugs, poverty, crime, illiteracy, etc. Thus, both government and private corporations have a complementary role to play for public welfare. Now, there are certain new directions in corporate social responsibility. Let us see that in conclusion. It can be said that corporations will have to make profits, as that is the main purpose for which they are established and exist. This is required to give expected returns to the investor community. As these activities happen, the economy develops, unemployment is reduced, goods and services are produced, standard of living is improved, and savings and investment are encouraged. At the same time, the profit earning should be done with minimal harm to the society. It should not be an act of exploitation, and inflation should be kept in control. Right to live should be respected by corporations, as a society comprises of many levels of income groups, and they all should be able to take the burden of pricing with less effort. Such activities are possible only when corporations accept social responsibility in their agenda and help governments function more effectively. the whole concept about social responsibility of a corporate can be well understood with certain examples. Very commonly, we come across this term nowadays found, which is known as green marketing. It is a marketing strategy that promotes environmentally safe products. For this purpose, socially responsible corporations make products that are biodegradable, recyclable, refillable, and ozone friendly. This is basically to protect the earth. Marking Earth Hour, Pink Caravan campaign, genetic engineering, and sponsoring for eradication of diseases, contributing towards World Health Organizations like WHO, UNESCO, UNICEF, etc. are some programs that are for the public welfare. Whenever organizations create job opportunities, all social evils automatically end, because an employed person will provide to his family and crime rates will fall. Literacy will be possible, which will lead to better skills and jobs. And living standards will improve, and in the end, the economy will benefit. All these are possible by business organizations. So, socially responsible corporations are the need of the hour. The next topic that we will be going on to will be topic 5, and this is governance and self-regulation. Thank you.